Hi everybody and welcome to another one of our legendary Alan Robson's Night Owls Ghost Hunts. It is horrific weather. We're going to do the best we can for you under the circumstances. Hollywood McShane, of course, has a huge umbrella. The rest of us absolutely soaked to the gunnels.
Very.
My groin feels like it's surrounded by an octopus at the moment.
An octopus.
However, where are we? Do you have any clue where we are? This, Aikenside, it's called Aikenside Hill now.
It is, yeah.
Because Aikenside House is just on the end.
That's right.
Long story short, it was this road that made me want to become a radio presenter. Because I was coming back from doing some job, just collecting some stuff that somebody wanted. And I came walking up, and I was a keen mobile DJ at the time.
Yeah.
And I heard somebody, a DJ at Aikenside House, putting a party on, and he went, "That was the sound of Argentina Torna." And I thought, I gotta be able to do it better. I have to be able to. Whether I did or whether I didn't, it's for you guys to judge, not me. However, this is Butcher's Bank. What a great name. It's not Aiken, it's Aikenside Hill officially, but the Butcher's Bank all the way up. Why? Because at one time, all of the animals would come down to the central station where the cattle market was.
It hasn't changed, has it?
The cattle market.
The animals
not there.
still come down.
No. Don't be like that. They used to collect in the cattle market there. Then the butchers from here would come down and they'd send their staff to say 7 cows, 12 sheep or whatever. And they'd walk them through the town, up this bank to the top. Why this bank? Because of the slope. Because they slaughtered the animals on the hill. They slaughtered them here and the blood ran all the way down the hill. Now, problem was, at the time, there was a lot of poo running down hills from people's houses because there wasn't any efficient sewage system. So all the poo was running down, all the blood was flies. You can't imagine how nasty that would have been. Apologies for the alarm going off in this shop. It's got the sign of the devil in the back of it. Maybe that's got something to do with it. So Butcher's Bank. Slaughtering animals, cutting their throats, hanging them up, letting them bleed out, running down into the River Tyne. The River Tyne here was pink nearly the whole time because of the amount of blood that was running in. Now, there is one story from a guy called Somerville. His name was Robert Somerville. He was a butcher for a man they think that was called Finlay. Now Finlay, there's butcher shops called Finlay now around and about the city. We don't know whether it was the same person or not. We don't know if it was a Findlay or a Finlay. But this Somerville worked for this guy, and the guy that he worked for was having a lot of trouble getting hold of meat because it was the Napoleonic War, and for whatever reason, a lot of people that should have been farming were out fighting, and there was a shortage of meat. And yet, this Somerville, when he went off to market to get some animals from, he always managed to come back with already butchered meat. He had kidneys and heart and slices of pork, and his boss was thinking, I don't know how he's doing this, but I'm the only person making money here. He's making a fortune in bonuses. Then, one day, a councilwoman, remember, if there's a shortage of meat, you go to where the meat is. People started buying, posher people started buying from this butcher, and a councilwoman bit into the speciality of Somerville, which was a mutton pasty. And as she bit into it, she felt some hair in her mouth. She pulled it out of her mouth, and it was a human eyelid with the eyelashes on it. She gave it to her husband and said, "Have you seen this?" And he said, "I shall look into it," because he was a councilman and he had power. And then he discovered that Somerville was a Freemason. And Somerville's brother was one of his friends on the council. So they hushed the whole thing up. The Somerville vowed he would never do it again. That wasn't enough for the councilman. He made the guy leave the northeast and he moved down, presumably to start doing the same thing again in Leeds. So that is the story of Butcher Bank. There's hundreds of other stories. Come down and I'll tell you about the next one. And hope you don't feel it. I tell you what, why don't you all, in your clothes, go and sit in the bath? Then you, not a hot bath, a cold bath, then you'll know how we're feeling at the moment.
It's weird that crucifix is upside down because your badge is turned upside down.
Has it?
Your night owl's badge is upside down, look.
Don't forget to share, because if you do share,
Mine's the right way.
you can win yourself a night owl's badge. Share, 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 and do us a favour if you can. Right, spread the word. Down here, remember, blood, guts, entrails, all kinds of stuff running down the hill, rats everywhere, local dogs getting hold of a bit of meat and running off with it, seagulls, crows. You can't imagine what it must have been like just to work in this neck of the woods. Now, you get to this spot here. Now, it doesn't look like a roundabout because there's kind of a strange roundabouty thing there. But here, at one time, this is 200 years ago, they built a huge, to try, looking at this wasn't pretty.
No.
So what they did was,
I can imagine,
leaving enough room for you to get cattle on both sides of it, they built a beautiful fountain. They built a fountain here, and it got the nickname the Butcher's Spittoon. And when they scrapped it and they pulled it all up, they built another one in the Granger Market, and it was there for 180 years. And it was also nicknamed the Butcher's Spittoon because the Granger Market's full of butchers. Anyway, down we come, this way. All of the streets up here have stories, and I've just realised that because so many people are loving these kind of grisly tales, which are grisly trails, I just realised, Kenny, I've got immense power. We could look at that road sign over there, for example, and say,
Queen Street.
This is where one of our queens was born back in, and you could say that and it's not true.
It's not true.
It's not true. I was going to do a thing about Blondell. There's a Blondell Street down here. I was going to say the actress Joan Blondell was born there.
But she wasn't.
She wasn't. No. We'll stick to the ones you can look up and the ones you can look up and justify.
Yeah.
They're the main ones. This is Lombard Street, so it could be Carol Lombard, who used to go out with Clark Gable.
Isn't it strange though? I mean, you know, you used to come down here, drink in, have nights out and that. I still couldn't tell you the names of any of these streets.
Really?
I really couldn't, no. Really couldn't, and yet...
But I've been educating you.
I know you have now, but apart from that, you wouldn't know the names of any of these streets, would you? You'd know them by Evika or the pub that you went to.
The pub behind where the Premier Inn is.
Yeah, you wouldn't know them by the name of the streets.
Doesn't it though? And you've got to remember, that's how they did it in the old days too. It was always, the road where the such and such inn is, or where the coach house is. Don't drown in the...
I wouldn't have a clue that was Lombard Street.
There you go.
Get this umbrella coming down a bit. You can pull it up.
Oh,
Manage?
Yeah.
hang on. Got it, there you go. Hey, we're getting soaked. There you go, so help me with me brolly. Charming. Charming. Come on. We're heading there actually.
Obviously he didn't want her on camera with him because he shouldn't be with her.
Is that right?
He went like, and he went.
Sometimes you come across that
was funny.
An indiscretion or two.
Yeah. You just seen the look of panic on his face.
Now here's the thing. Seaburn, right?
Yeah.
Seaburn. Been to Seaburn a lot.
Yeah.
Like Seaburn.
Lovely.
Nice. Did you know that there used to be a motorised ferry from Seaburn up to the River Tyne?
No.
Yeah. And
Seriously?
there's a story from kind of where we're heading next. Before that, we've got to hit Spillers, which is, what's this puddle, Tony?
The Baltic.
You need a boat to get across that sucker.
Big puddle.
I feel like my gonads are in a big puddle. Nearly missed
There's a little
it.
street sign on
Nearly
there.
missed it, nearly missed it.
What's that alleyway called?
Look at this.
Look at that.
Look at this.
What's it called?
It was for a
Something char.
plumber char.
Plumber char.
Now, first of all, what was a char?
I don't honestly know.
It was one of the. They built them out to sea so that boats could dock on the char.
Right.
And loads of the streets in Newcastle are called that. This was called Green's Alley for a long time because I don't want to look at it. It's about 3 or 4 inches water in there. But about halfway up this alley, a guy called Green committed suicide. It was called Green's Alley. Now there wasn't all this metal stuff when he did it. What he did was there was a hook outside one of the doors, and he saw it, and he'd had a big row with his family, and he decided he wanted to end it all. So here it is, Plumber Char, better known as Green's Alley, because by the time they found him, he was that colour.
Oh, joking aside, what's the point of a window in there?
What's the point of a window?
What is the point of a window?
To get out in case there's a fire, I suppose.
Get these ones, look.
Ah dear. But isn't it funny, just everywhere you go there's a little alley or there's a little something.
Look at this.
Thomas Spence.
Yeah.
He was born here, and once again, I know they've got modern buildings up here. Thomas Spence was a writer, a land reformer, a campaigner for the rights of men and women, and he wasn't actually universally liked for doing it, because a lot of people believe that women are best answering to men. He didn't believe in that, and he was one of the first people in Britain to try and generate proper rights for women, 50-50, same as men kind of thing. So this is where he was born, Fenwick's Entry. And I'm not going to go in Fenwick's Entry.
No, we're not going to go in Fenwick's Entry.
I'm not going in Fenwick's Entry. I don't know about you.
We're not interested in
No,
Fenwick's.
I'm not interested. Leave that alone. Excuse me. Oh dear. Oh, yeah. Everywhere inside looks warm and lovely, doesn't it? Pizza shop there.
Yeah, even Greg's looks inviting with the lights off.
It's true. But we're heading along here.
Custom house yard.
Yeah.
There's another thing there, look.
Because this used to be where the customs house was, where people from all of the boats, remember, tall ships,
Yeah.
right the way along here, they would have to come in and declare what their cargoes were. And there's been many a fight and many a bust up, because sometimes if you slid the customs people a few tanks of rum, few coins, they didn't even go to the boat and check it. If you didn't, they were on that taking it. So to say they were all good guys is not true. Anyway, along we go. I nearly just walked in that alley because it had a roof on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the roof there. Keep it dry. Not many people sitting outside the night in the chair.
No. Can't blame them. My fingers feel like they want to fall off.
It's a bit cold. Oh God, look at that alley. Dear me. That's a scary one.
What's that?
That alley there.
Another alley.
Oh my God.
I don't have a story for it.
Look at that.
They look like alleys in New York City, don't they?
Don't they?
You expect some gangsters doing a deal down there, and I would imagine there probably has been.
I was going to say, the local mafiosa.
Right. The law courts. But first of all, Spillers. Spillers?
Yeah. Which is the Baltic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Spillers.
There.
That's it there. Light it up, Jerry, if you can.
Oh, yeah.
Spillers has always been the tallest milling company anywhere in the world. 36,000 tons coming from that in a year.
Man.
But that was about 1895, I think they came. I want to take you back 15 years before that, because exactly where the Baltic is now, it's a museum, it's a lot of different stuff now. It's really nice. And one of the best views of the Tyne.
Yeah.
There's a little balcony halfway down, and you can see all the bridges along it. Spillers wasn't there. Spillers decided they were going to build 3 massive mills, this being the biggest one in the world, as I've said. They were making a fortune. But before that, there was a massive coal plant there and staves, so the boats could pull up, open up their decks, pour all the coal in it, and then take it to Scotland, to the south, to Europe. Tons and tons and tons of coal. And they did that for over 100 years. However, Geordie Carr, ever heard of Geordie Carr?
I haven't, no.
Geordie Carr, he was one of the guys that guided the coal into the decks of the ship. And a lot of these ships were very deep, so it took a lot of coal, and they were very long, kind of like tankers of their day. So, Geordie Carr, bless him, he realised that there was a bit of wood, like a wood panel, had fallen in, stopping the coal fully getting in. So he said, I'll sort it. He climbed down, he got this bit of wood, he knocked it back. As soon as he knocked the wood back, all of the coal from the delivery of the ship, was a chute in, piled on top of him. And it was something like 150, 200 tons of coal. And what the owner did was, just, if I have to take that out of there, you'd have to do it by hand.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it would take however long it was going to take, days probably. So the owner said to his people, say nothing, let's fill the ship and get it on its way. And when they did that, at the end of the shift, his wife eventually came knocking and said, where's Geordie gone? The owner said, well, I haven't seen him. Said, yeah, the guy's seen him. They haven't seen him. His ghost is said to walk around the base of Spillers now.
Right.
And there's a rhyme that was written about it. Some people say it was turned into a song. Haven't heard the song, but I've read the poem. It's just a 2-liner. It goes, he put the slack in the belly of the boat. He was never seen again except for his ghost. Right. And that's the story of Geordie Carr from Spillers. The reason that I've stopped here is, remember me telling you about that boat that used to come up from Seaburn?
Mm-hmm.
It came along when it got to Howden, which is just up there. Excuse us. When it got to Howden up there, it was a wave kind of similar to what we've got tonight, a high tide. So, when the boat came up, the tide at the moment is going down, isn't it? It's going out, so the tide's going out. Back then, the tide was coming in, and it had rained like this, so it was pouring in. It tipped the boat up at Howden, and all of the people in the water, 3 of them climbed out. The captain of the little boat, 2 of his men, and 1 person managed to get out of the river at Howden. 7 young girls were travelling up here to go to a private school. They all died, and they were washed up just here, whereas this is Sandgate.
Yeah.
What would happen if we just stared at somebody having some food? Do you think they'd give us a? Do you think they'd give us a chip or something? Yeah. Grrr. Oh dear. Right, Sandgate. Take a look at it. Obviously the great courts are here, and don't know whether you've ever been in there for any bad purpose, Kenny.
I have.
Have you?
Not, yeah. Jimmy Five Bellies when he went to court for chasing someone with a gun.
Oh dear Lord.
And he got jailed.
Can I just say that I'm not sure my notes are going to be of any use to me at all tonight. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss any. Sandgate, yeah, the flooding. I didn't mention the flooding. I mentioned the drownings, and then it's Martha. So, shows you how waterproof this coat is, mind. If everything in my pockets is soaking, that's not good. Right, so the flooding here. You know, we talked about how the River Tyne rose and flooded, and all the boats came up. Well, the flooding also had, you know, the Sand Gate is actually a gate called the Sand Gate. It used to be here, across this road, and every night King James I ordered that the gate be closed because 29 people died in the flooding up here. So they ordered that every night all of the gates, and there was 3, had to be closed to stop the river. So it was the best they could manage to avoid people getting drowned in their homes. Anyway, up we come.
Isn't there a song about the Sandgate?
There's the Keel as well.
Yeah,
the Keelrow's a famous song.
The Keel, my laddie's on. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to keep my phone in my. I was thinking, can I keep it in my wet pocket, or is it better in my jacket? Oh, decisions.
It's not good.
Gonna be wrong, whatever I do. Right, so up here, head of steam. Of course, everybody loves the head of steam. Champion. Broad chair. You were talking about chairs before. Heading up in this direction, we've got another amazing story. A sad one too, really. It's about a woman called Martha Taylor, I believe her name was. And she's known as the Quayside Silky. Martha Wilson is her name. And I'm going to have to try and remember everything that I've got in my notes, which is a nightmare, especially today. Martha Wilson, come here and I'll show you the area where she lived once. But back in the old days, this wasn't quite as dynamic as it is now. If you're going to look in, it's been modernised, there's restaurants and that kind of thing. However, back in the day, there were tenements up here on both sides of the road, all the way to the top. And that's where this particular person used to live. So, the rain just easing off. Is it me, or is it easing off a little bit?
It's easing off a little bit.
Let's hope it stays that way. Right.
It's very cold though.
It's freezing. Live theatre. We love the people of the live theatre. They're good folk. And oh, we're going this way. We're going this way.
We can get up them stairs, can't we? Or can we?
Yeah, we can get up those stairs, but we have to go around
right.
to get onto a place called Pandon Bank.
Right.
The story of Martha's really, really super sad. She lived in a tenement over this way, and her husband had a really good job, and she loved him very much. She said she came from really super poor upbringing, and her husband was quite a wealthy man. So when she met him and fell in love, she couldn't believe that a guy that had that much money would fall in love for somebody that was normal and poor and literally didn't have to pay in. So loved him to bits, but she was only married about 3 years, and then cholera came to town, and we talked about the amount of muck and rubbish running through the streets. Cholera caught on real fast, took a lot of lives. So come on down here. Now if you can imagine, if you go looking at old photographs of Newcastle, you can see a lot of the tenements coming down the chairs.
Yeah.
And people in long dresses, very, very poor, loads of kids running around.
Yeah. Always look grey and dirty, doesn't it?
That was the reality of the time. It was mucky and nasty. Now, I'm hoping that it's up here we're going. I believe it is. Yes, it is. Right. So all we've done is come around in a bit of a circle. But this is where it was. This is Pandon Bank. And incredible stories of Pandon. There was one about a woman called Threve, Margaret Threve. And what she did, she was working in a workhouse where you got a certain amount of money for sewing or for making items, and for that she was allowed to live there. However, this Margaret woman had 2 children, and I'm talking right here on the edge of Pandon Bank being this bit here. Now, back in Roman times, this was called Pandemum, and there was a gate here called Severus's Gate, and it was the gateway into the city for outsiders to get into Newcastle proper. There was a huge gate here during the Civil War. They pulled it to pieces because you got to remember it was all about, a lot of it was about religion, like a lot of these things are. Yeah. So this Margaret woman, suddenly nobody saw kids. And they said, what's happened? What's happened to the bairns? Where are the bairns at? And she said, oh, they've gone to live with me ex. And he's living in South Shields. So they went to South Shields looking for the kids. Nobody could find them. And they says, oh, if my husband doesn't want to be found, he'll not be found. Well, then they found the husband. No bairns. So the authorities came here to either that building there, which of course was a tenement, or that building there that was a tenement. It was either side. It was at the very, very bottom of Pandon Bank. And when they broke in, before they broke in, frankly, they could smell that there was an issue. There was a horrific stench. They kicked the door in, and when the sight that they saw apparently made some of the police officers throw up, because there were flies everywhere, there were rats chewing away on the decomposing corpses of her 2 children, filth everywhere, and the woman just sitting in it, thinking this was normal. She had a candle, she was reading a book, as if none of that mattered. And that happened right here. And there's supposed to be the ghosts of those 2 young children. One was 8-year-old, a little boy, and a 5-year-old little girl here on Pandon Bank. So we're getting a few stories told. Pandon Bank. Got to tell you about so many other things too on our way, if we possibly can.
At least it stopped raining a little bit.
A little bit, we're getting a little bit better there.
It is freezing right now.
It is not nice at all.
It wasn't so bad at the start, but now it is absolutely freezing.
This is also a place that up here, where one of the restaurants is, used to be called the Hall of the Barber Surgeons. And I think that might be it, you know, it might be the Silk Room.
Yeah.
There used to be a really big, huge building here called the Hall of the Barber Surgeons. And this is a bit like, you know, whenever you see a cowboy film,
yeah,
somebody's poorly, where do they go?
They always went to the barbers for some reason.
The barbers, because the barber was a doctor,
yeah,
and a dentist and everything. And the barber surgeons were. It wasn't like you go to a doctor, because poor people couldn't afford to go there anyway. We have to double back just a little way to one building that's up here. I'm fairly sure it's up here. Yes, it is up here. So anyway, the Hall of the Barber Surgeons, just there, and they taught people how to pull teeth, how to cut hair, how to deliver babies, how to operate on people when the amount of knowledge they had about it was slim to non-existent. And yet, barbers all over Britain were taught the same way by the same people, and these folk had huge amounts of power. And how did they get rich, and how did they get the power that they got? Money.
Yeah,
where did the money come from? Well, money from all the poor people. You want a tooth pulled? I haven't got any money, but I could give you a cow.
Yeah, barter.
Paching, we'll have that. And they made a fortune. However, down here, isn't Trinity House down here? Yes, there it is. That's it there, isn't it? Trinity House. Now, let me just give these surgeons an even worse name. Because what they said was that for every person that they laid out, they got something like 7 shillings.
Right.
Doesn't sound much, but when there's people dying left and right and cholera's in town,
Yeah.
they were ka-chingy, ka-chingy, ka-chingy. And there's a phrase, and my notes are screwed, so I'll try and remember it as best I can. What they said about it was that if you're still alive when you reach the surgeon, he'll help you on your way to make a few coins for his back pocket. So if somebody was on the last legs, they wouldn't get out.
No.
They'd just finish them off, embalm them. He didn't make it, I'm afraid. And a lot of these people genuinely could have been saved. Talking pirates, oh, there's a pirate story from down here. This is supposed to be haunted. This whole thing here, you know, this area here is supposed to have a couple of ghosts on it. One from a duel back in pre-Victorian, it's kind of 1840, so it is Victorian times. 2 people with muskets came out here and they stood on the path. They couldn't do it down here because this was classed as Newcastle. They thought that if they stood in the countryside, it didn't count. So they stood up there with about 20 yards between them. 2 of them fired a shot. One of them took the top of somebody's head off.
With the necromancer, is this a good place to try it, or?
Well, I think when we get up there, we'll give it a go. Let's just tell you the story from this place, because this is an amazing place to visit. Trinity House. That's it there. I think it's all Trinity House.
Funny you should mention the barber, because that reminds me of the old joke.
Oh dear.
So the man went to the barber and he says, right, can you cut me hair like Robbie Williams? And he shaves all his hair off and he went, he says, Robbie Williams doesn't get his hair all shaved off. He says, he does if he comes here.
Oh, ka-ching. This, I believe, is under reconstruction, and it's a Trinity House. Trinity House essentially was the place that made all of the decisions about the Port of Tyne back in the day. And there is the ghosts in it. We're told there are. I've looked up the ghosts, various stories of just figures moving around, and it's currently
I'm just looking
being
on the date on that.
upgraded by the looks of things. This is part of Deer Street, the old Roman path too. But Trinity House has one story. I found one story that was interesting enough to mention, and it was a guy called Captain Green, and he went sailing to Africa on a trading mission. Now this, some people say it was the early 1800s, some people say it was the early 1700s. However, whenever it was, Captain Green went, when he came back, he only had like 14 men on his ship. Now, that meant that he'd lost about 60 of his crew, the vast majority of it. And he came back with this story to say that when they landed in Africa, they tried trading with various tribes on what's now called the Gold Coast. And when they got there, they discovered, to their horror, that they were a tribe of cannibals. And they were eating human flesh. And a little bit of white meat, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, absolutely. So, he lost 2/3 of his crew. When he came back, the people at Trinity House said that it was his fault because he sent his men on shore saying that he would come and join them later. And of course, they were hacked to pieces on the beaches. And what they said was that any self-respecting captain would have led his men, and he wasn't even injured because he didn't even go ashore. So Captain Green lost his captaincy. His ship was taken from him. The owners of the ship backed up Trinity House and said, that's it, you'll never work in this area again, you're done. So he came here in front of Trinity House, in front of, is that Tesco's? Yeah, in front of Tesco's, although Tesco wasn't there at the time. And he got his pistol, flintlock, cocked it, and put it in his ear. Now, weirdly, he fired it at an angle, kind of that way. So he didn't die. He shattered his skull and the bullet came out the back of his head and he was lying on the ground bleeding to death. And it said that the people at Trinity House saw out of the window what he had done, ignored him and left him on the ground to die, to bleed out. Don't know whether that's true. I'm sure everybody at Trinity House would say, oh, we would never do anything like that because we're lovely people. And I think now they probably are. Back then, you don't know. Because they hated Green, and Green kept pestering them, saying, give me another chance, give me another chance, give me a ship. They didn't give him a ship. They let him die.
I'm amazed that 260 years ago they made that look, you know, for like the rainwater. That's gone 1754 on that.
Amazing.
Isn't it? 260 years ago they had all, you know, all that.
Right, well, let's get up here. We'll give the necromancer a dance, if it's still working. If I can ring it out. You see, all of these, they're remnants of the old town.
Yeah,
you know?
they are. That have never been
You can
changed.
see nobody's done anything with this.
No. Them stairs up there.
Absolutely. Now don't forget to share, please. We've got a cemetery up and coming too.
Oh, nice.
Oh dear.
I have no idea where you're going.
I'm going to where those guys had the shootout. It's just up here. Careful, it's a bit slippery.
It is a bit.
And there's graves literally just on top of there. Oh. Oh.
Nearly went.
Yeah. Hang on. Wish the trees were in leaf, we may have stood a chance of getting. Let's see what we get.
What's that there? Do you know, isn't it crazy how creepy it is here? Literally a stone's throw from the quayside.
Absolutely.
Look at it.
Is there anybody with us? No.
Well, hang on, if they say no, if somebody says no, that means there is.
Is there anyone here with us? Talk to us.
That sounded like George there. I don't know if it sounded like a George.
Light up the buildings for Tony.
Yeah, I'll light these up. You can do that. Okay.
Dog Bank. Do you know why this is called Dog Bank? That's Dog Bank down there, actually.
That is.
I'll tell you that story once we've given this a chance to say something.
Beware uneven walking surface. You're not wrong. Ah, All Hallows Lane.
Yes.
Is that anything to do with Halloween?
Yes.
No way.
Absolutely.
Hallows Lane.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's another name for Akenside Hill.
Right. That is crazy. All Hallows Lane.
I'm hearing voices up here.
The voices and this very strange smell.
Hang on, I'm going to take the necromancer off till we get to the cemetery.
I think that's a good idea.
Because I wanted to hear if those voices were.
A strange smell.
There's an odd smell up here.
What is it?
It's not pleasant.
No.
And these things are, I mean, do you see that?
Slip on them. We'll definitely slip on the way back down. I know we will. Can we not get out that way? See if we're going down there.
I've switched the necromancer off and it's still
Still going. That's a bit strange. Mine, I can imagine anything happening tonight with this rain getting into everything, mine.
I think there's stuff here.
I think there's stuff here, you get the feeling, don't you?
Speak to us. What's your name? The person I'd like to get up here is called Alice. And I'll tell you Alice's story soon too.
Who's Alice? Who?
Don't get into that.
No.
Speak to us.
I'm interested in Hallow's Lane, I must admit.
The woman's voice asking for help in the background here.
That weird. What's her name?
What's your name? What's your name?
Didn't get that.
What's your name? Lots of whispering.
It is quite
trees
eerie
look
here,
spooky
mate.
here.
Isn't it?
Top of my head's soaking.
Yeah.
It's gone right through me hat. What's your name? I want to talk to the woman. What's your name? What's your name? Ah, they're not playing. They're not playing. Right, let's get on to Dog Bank maybe. Right, soaking wet and downright nasty. Right, so let's see if we can get down here and we'll walk down. Be real careful. Might
Very
you to
careful.
hold on to the.
Yeah, grab the rail.
It's soaking
Oh,
too.
God. This is so slippy.
Yeah.
Tony, be dead careful.
Yeah, be careful, Tor. Look at this. Now this house was one of the old houses. You can see how it's been remodernised. They put a bit of modern brickwork in at the far side.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, real old. We're talking hundreds of years old. And what was here? This is the question. What was here in this bit?
God.
Because if you look down, you can see where modern houses are being built. But behind these railings were kennels belonging to some of the rich.
Right.
Because you've got to remember, Newcastle wasn't a sprawling city like it is now.
No.
It was quite a tightly packed centre around castle walls. So the rich people had places on the outside of the centre where they could keep their hounds. So they could go and dan divvy, wearing their hunting coats. And it was right here where all of that happened. Dog Bank. Dog Bank has another story from what happened just up here too. And this was not quite so pretty because you're right in the heart of the city. The quayside is how far?
Literally.
100 yards.
Yeah,
It's just
that
there.
way. Just there.
And yet, I would bet you that 99% of the people watching this have never been up
I've
here.
never been here before, ever.
And if you walk along here, you know, we talk about...
That's the Exorcist, isn't it? Them stairs right there.
Right there.
Right there, look at that.
And there's the old-fashioned cobbles all the way the other way. But you've got to remember, when the stables were here, those cobbled things would be for horsemen to come in, put the horses away, and then tootle off. There were stables here too, so that the rich had it. The rich get it.
They get it everywhere, don't
they?
they?
The way that they want to
They
have
really
it,
do.
and it's there. So,
Yeah, let's talk about the rich and the parties.
grrr,
Yeah, let's have a party, but let's not have a party. Okay.
now once again you come to old Newcastle, and yes, we know there's modern buildings in all directions. However, little bits of old Newcastle remain. Now, this is the top of where we were before. We've come round in a circle,
Yeah.
right? So, Akenside Hill, known as All Hallows Hill. Why?
It's got to be something to do with Halloween then, surely.
One Halloween, a group of people came here to dine at a manor house, which was there, where that white building is. There was a manor house there. It was actually a rich Jewish family who made their money on another street that's literally just around the corner from here called Silver Street. Silver Street, called Silver Street because rich Jewish people, realising that there was going to be a lot of money in Newcastle, came here, set up businesses, and made a fortune selling, assaying silver. And you know, sometimes on antique shows they'll say, oh, it's got a Newcastle mark on it.
Yeah.
Because of the Jewish jewellers on Silver Street.
Right.
Now, one of them had a mansion house there, right at the top of where Akenside Hill meets Dog Bank. And this is, as the sign behind Tony says,
Dog Bank.
This is Dog Bank.
Oh, look. All Hallows Lane up there.
All Hallows Lane is the... I'm taking you up it in a second. But when this...
Next to Pilgrim Street. No.
This is the top of Pilgrim Street.
Dear me.
You know where Pilgrim Street is?
Yeah.
There's a wibbly wobbly road. Why is it called Pilgrim Street?
It's where the Pilgrims marched, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People would arrive by boat on the Tyne. They'd get off the ship and they'd walk up Pilgrim Street to get to Newcastle Cathedral. Or they'd walk down Pilgrim Street to get to Newcastle Cathedral.
Right, yeah.
Because if you know where that is.
Yeah.
So, All Hallows, why is it called that? Rich mansion house there.
Yeah.
A large group of Jewish people came up from York and they travelled up this lane and they got to here and they looked at this area heading into the churchyard, and coming down was a group of 8 people. 3 of them religious people wearing long black robes. They walked down the stairs, followed by a group of 5 other people, just ordinary people in long dresses, looking quite neat and tidy. And they got to here with their coach, and this was a long coach, had a number of people in it, there was about a dozen of them. They came up, then they stopped there, and they weren't Christians, but they had respect for other religions back then, and they said hello to them. They just said hello as they were heading by. They walked down about three or four more steps and they all disappeared. And because of that, remembering a lot of Jewish people don't believe in spirit, but they couldn't explain it any other way, so they told it to their guests, and one of their guests was an alderman from Newcastle, not Jewish, but he was one of their guests. And from that moment on, they called this, there's so many ghosts here, we should name it All Hallows Walk or All Hallows, and this is All Hallows Lane. So, you know, and it's marked at the top there. A lot of people have no idea about the story.
No idea.
But Dog Bank again, what happened here, across the road, in all directions there's a something, and it's what happened in here. Now you got to remember, shall we go in? Let's go in. Might as well go in. We're here. Let's go in and see where poor Alice lost her life. And for those of you that, you know, we talk about dark things that move in the night and what have you, and the darkness. Oh yeah, well, why aye. Give it a try. Trust me. You'll get there.
You may catch the top though, mightn't it?
Just need to get you here, Tony, and if you're here, you're flying.
There you go.
Here. You just stay here and I'll do the rest. I know, that's fine.
Watch these steps.
Absolutely. So in here, now you've got to remember that back in the day, a lot of this was greenery.
Yeah.
A lot of the buildings, these posh, newer buildings from the late 1800s weren't here. And it was, the story I've got for you is about a girl called Alice McGowan. Alice McGowan. And it was another one of those stories that, because that was a rich mansion house, because this was an important church, massively important church, this one here, All Saints.
Yeah.
Look at it, absolutely immense.
Crazy, isn't it?
We'll be going in there very, very soon. I hope you're going to join us as we go around it. This was an important part of the city. You had the poor people down there, and you had the richer people with their hounds and their horses and their carriages bringing them up to the mansion houses along the way. Nobody wanted a bad name for this area.
Right.
Now, when Alice McGowan's broken, battered body was found in the middle of this, you know, right in the middle. I'm not going in because it'll be, you know, I'm wet enough, but right in the middle of here. Kenny, go in there and tell me how cold that is in there. Because actually it's not too bad out here.
Oh God.
Are you getting fridge?
It's absolutely freezing.
It's like you've opened the door of a fridge.
Oh God, your whole body.
I know.
Your whole body just freeze.
Like you've opened the fridge.
Jesus, yeah.
It's like you've opened the fridge door.
That is ridiculous.
I want to have another look in there.
That is ridiculous, mine. Walking inside a fridge.
It is though.
Coming home Newcastle.
Jeepers. Wow. Whoa. They've absolutely.
Oh, you should go on, I'll carry that. I think you'll get something here. Now, if that says Alice on that necromancer, I'm running.
I would love to think that we could reach Alice here. Alice, I'm coming in, pet. Ow. Are you here, Alice? Alice, is there any hint of you left here? Speak to us. Alice. With all of the background noise, it's hard to...
He's whispering there.
Alice. Is Alice here? Alice. What?
What? That was definitely what? That was 100% what?
Why do you stay here, Alice? What was it that took you? Because to this day, nobody knows how she died.
Seriously?
What was it that took you? Screaming. Was it bad? What happened to you? What happened to you, Alice? Did they hurt you, Alice? Speak to me, girl. It's you that we want. Did you see that, Kenny?
I saw that move.
No, I'm sitting here and all the other trees aren't moving and this thing just went, which is kind of odd. Don't know what that was about. I might have touched it, I suppose. Think it might, oh no, might have been me. Might have been me.
Oh. No, I got something in my neck. That was...
Something touched you.
Not, it was... Right.
Could it be just a drip?
Tip of a knife. That's what it felt like.
What?
Honestly and truly, you know, like a tip of a knife. Just went like that there. Honestly, I felt it. That is the weirdest thing. What was that?
She just kind of went, oh no. Like she was sympathising with you.
I wonder if she got her neck cut. Honestly, that was like a tip of a knife, just like somebody touching you there with it. That's exactly what that felt like there.
Well, the story was
that was the weirdest thing.
They found her body lying there. Now, it was found by wealthy people right here. The wealthy people picked her up, took her to a coroner's office.
Sorry.
Sorry, are you...
Nah, it's just
scratched?
weird. I don't know. It just like... It just felt like...
No, it's just ugly.
It just felt like the tip of a knife just going like that. Just
right
there.
The rich people took this girl's poor broken body. She was about 90 years of age.
Strange.
They took her to a coroner and they gave the coroner money to say that she'd fallen and hit her head.
Right.
We don't know that she could have had a throat cut. But they didn't want a scandal. They didn't want a murder up here. So they paid the coroner to say whatever they wanted to say. However, her friend saw her die.
Right.
Now what happened, and it's very rare that you hear a story like this from back then.
No.
I've made it very clear on the various ghost hunts that I've been on that I regularly see and you've seen subsequently, that blackness that moves,
Yeah.
that is darker than ordinary darkness,
Yeah.
and it moves. We saw on that on the leopard trail, we saw that black figure moving across the path.
Yeah.
We saw it clearly, and we caught it on camera. Now, don't forget, if you are going to join us and become a supporter, you can get all of this stuff as a bonus. You get the whole lot. You don't just get the new stuff, you get everything. But we caught on camera this figure moving across a path, a blackness. Well, what the friend said, her friend Alice had come running up the hill. Apparently she had a job at one of the mansions cleaning and tending for them, and she was late, and she was scurrying up the hill, leaving her friend behind her who also had a job with her at the same property, but she was a bit of a larger girl and wasn't making the laps quite as well as Alice did. And they saw Alice come up these steps, get into she was cutting through the woodland. It wasn't quite as wild as it is now. She was cutting through to head up to the mansion houses, and suddenly a blackness appeared out of nowhere, a huge darkness, and it covered her completely, and her friend couldn't see her anymore, and she was screaming, "Alice, Alice, Alice, Alice." And then the blackness seemed to just blow away in the breeze, and by the time she got up the bank and came in to see her, Alice was lying broken. The girl's screams were heard by the people in the mansion house, who came up, dealt with the body, bribed the coroner, and there's not a hint of this story anywhere except in two texts. One told to a vicar by the young girl, who told the vicar the story, and he wrote it in one of the parish magazines.
Right.
And it was all, that same story was then passed on to somebody else. So we know she died, we don't know how she died, but incredible that it could be that blackness that we talk about that never seems to show itself. How is this not waterproof?
It's keeping the water on the outside, which is then dripping down.
But it's going in my pocket and soaking everything.
That's how I get on the big coat fund.
I need a big coat. I used to have one of them Columbo style raincoats.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I ended up giving it away to a guy that worked at Tyne Telly because he didn't have a big coat.
Oh.
Could have done with a big coat now.
Do that now.
His guy was called Chris Phipps, for those of you that might know him. He wrote a few books about pop stars at Tyne Tees and what have you.
Yeah.
Sadly passed.
Yeah. Yes.
All Hallows Lane, though. Come on.
Maybe start part 2 on the steps.
Yeah, let's do it.
That'd be good.
Can you get up to the graveyard that way, though?
Sharp find out. Because my plan was to do it a slightly different way.
Right.
But I can't. I know, but I can't see my notes, so I've got no idea where I was supposed to be because it's mulch.
Is that a person there?
Yeah, I just don't know how to get there from here.
Is it up there and then round?
I think we'll have to.
It's up there, yeah. Always round.
There must be a way.
Okay. Hi everybody, welcome. All Hallows Lane is where we are. Amazing stories in all directions. We're heading to a cemetery and the top of Dog Bank and also Pandon Bank we've just left, and we're heading up Pilgrim Street. Now, loads of you know Pilgrim Street. You shop on Pilgrim Street all the time. Did you know it came down as far as this? Bet you didn't.
Didn't have a clue.
But the Pilgrims used to walk up here in groups of 12. 12 representing...
12, I would imagine. If they represent, is it 12 months? No.
No, we're religious people. 12 disciples.
Right. 12.
Disciples. And I've got your torch.
Right,
So let's swap back.
So the 12 disciples, that's why it had 12.
Yeah, they always walked up in 12s because they represented the 12 disciples.
Right.
Are you sure we can get up here?
I wonder if that's why there's 12 people on a jury. I
don't know the answer to that question. Oh, hang on, no, we're here. Here we
I
go.
always wonder about these things, why they pick a certain number.
All Saints Church, medieval. It leads to a place called Holy Jesus Hospital. we're heading there too, where we have stories in all directions.
Oh, there's a plaque there.
Absolutely. Let's catch it. Oh, it's Clarty, Main Ken, isn't it?
All Saints Church.
You bugs. There you go. So all the dates that I lost, I can get from here. A rare elliptical building, 1786, the medieval church of All Hallows. Now, this is not the medieval church. This is the one that was built in 1786.
Yeah.
It replaced the one from the 1200s. So there was, hang on. I knew that skid on my backside there. This replaced the church from the 1200s. And when they were going to build this, and you know, credit to Christians, if you're going to build a building, look at this. Look at it. It's amazing. Look at these round, beautiful round windows. And of course, there's a story about a young boy who, whilst building this, fell from the top tower, and he's supposed to be peeping out up there right now, just above the clock. They see him.
Just here.
Don't know whether it's this window or the window on the other sides, but he's supposed to have fallen to his death. He was asked to go up and secure like a lightning conductor to the top,
All right.
and he went up and he was tapping in the lightning conductor.
I think Back to the Future, isn't it?
And he,
Doing that.
yeah, and down he came, which is an awful thing. So there was another church here. Now, when you come along to this round bit at the end, there's a story attached to that too, just around the corner. And we're talking about the old church now, the medieval one from the 1200s. Amazing little tale from round the corner. Just bear with us. We'll get there. Now, if you're wondering where we are, up there's dear
Dear me. Big pudding.
that foot was already wet. Squelchy
Look
now.
inside there. See it at the side.
Stop laughing. That
I'm
really
not
was
laughing.
funny.
I wasn't laughing.
Everybody's laughing. Come round here then. That leads up to... You tell them a story. I've told them enough.
It makes a change when from me falling or whatever.
I was just saying, before we started, I went, there's water getting in my Uggs. I don't know how. There's a lot more getting in now, I'll tell you. Right, now, where they were building this piece here, they were adding an extra area to the building. And there was a guy called Captain Ridley who was overseeing the building. To be honest, there was dozens of people out here watching them create. Because let's face it, if they're building something like that, and this is going to be your church,
Yeah.
all the rich and the wealthy would come out on a hot summer's day and they'd stand around here, some of them on shooting sticks, some of them sitting on the grass having a picnic. And he thought, wouldn't it be great if they could add an extra piece to it? So he had a word with the architect and said, can you not add a little bit just to make it shouldn't just be circular, there should be extra bit, it should be a tribute to the glory of God. And Captain Ridley went up to explain what he wanted, and he got just underneath there, you'll notice there's no window in there.
There's no window in that one. No.
Because it's where God didn't see.
Right.
Because Ridley was under there when a huge stone fell from the top, hit him on the head so hard it shattered his spine the whole way. When they pulled it out, he was literally almost like a cartoon character. He was scrunched into a small circle. They couldn't even, they couldn't even lay him out. He was squashed flat. And because of that, it's the window because God didn't see.
So that's a good way of getting out of it, saying, well, God didn't see you.
Yeah, otherwise you would have saved him because he was a very
Exactly,
religious person. And
Clever.
God doesn't miss a trick, does he?
Very
Come on.
clever,
He's
very.
omnipresent. He's everywhere. But you can see inside the building how beautiful it is. Look at it, it's gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful church. However, there's some darker stories from round the corner, because when they built this, there's a cemetery just over, if memory serves, I think it's just there. There's a cemetery just over there. When they built this, The old church was just, it was much smaller. The medieval church was on the other side. It wasn't tall, wasn't high, just a standard little old-fashioned 12th century, 11th century church. So, when they built this, they took far more ground. And there was an Anglo-Saxon cemetery here.
Right.
And they went and said, but there's a cemetery here. But the people wanted it built so much, they said, stuff that. Shh, say nothing, just build your building. So when they were sinking the foundations, they were amongst dead bodies. They didn't move them, they didn't pray over them, they didn't care. And what was the reason? Why couldn't they care?
Why couldn't they care?
Yeah, because they weren't Christians.
No.
The bodies were just
No,
heathens there. If they're not Christians, why should we pray for them? Why should we worry about how they're buried? And that's why there's some trouble in the cemetery.
And yet, they're supposed to care for all people. But
well, they do.
obviously
They
not.
probably do more so now than they did.
Yeah, but didn't
Back then, it seems it was like a financial kind of thing.
So this is Silver Street.
Silver Street.
Yeah.
Are we?
Bang on.
Hey,
Bang on.
just to prove that I wasn't winding you up.
There you go. And the Newcastle crest.
This is where all the we said that along here, these buildings here, mansion houses, owned by Jewish families who made exquisite jewellery and made a fortune doing it. There was racism back then. If you speak to anybody that lives, as I am lucky enough to be quite friendly with a lot of the Jewish people from the Talmudical College in Gateshead, and they'll tell you that sadly they still get awful racist treatment sometimes from loudmouth nouts that aren't very bright, because only people that were loudmouth nouts who weren't very bright would ever do it. But if it wasn't for the Jewish population of Newcastle and Gateshead, we wouldn't have the thriving economy today, because a lot of the Jewish people over there run a lot of businesses over here and vice versa. So if you can, do it.
Proper Newcastle crest, that though. That's the council one, isn't it?
The council
with
one.
The seahorses and the 3 turrets. Yeah. That's what Newcastle used to have on the strips in the 1960s.
Look at this though. This is where we're going, isn't it? Oh no, here we are.
Pardon? Yeah.
Here we go.
Down again.
It's going to touch it to move it up.
Right.
I'm just having brolly problems.
Got it? We should brolly,
Hey,
brolly.
we're really sorry for you. Poor soul.
Yeah, you should got a brolly.
Look at this. Cobbled stairs just to build that. And why was it built? Because the rich people lived here.
Yeah.
So, it's not like a mucky lane like we've just walked up in the poor end.
No, they've built that.
They've
nice
built this, so it's beautiful for people to promenade up and down. And it's haunted. And I would love to think, switch the torches off and let Tony have a look at it in the dark. Are you getting anything without the torches?
Yeah, it's light with the light post anyway.
Right.
Might say something.
So if anybody catches anything, screenshot it, send it to us. And I'd love you to do that in our next destination. We've got a couple more destinations to go. We've got here, and then we're crossing the road past the building we used to work in.
Look at this cemetery. Oh my word.
But if you're looking for a place that looks spooky,
look straight away.
and look at 2 minutes away.
2 minutes away,
2 minutes away from the town centre.
And
City
going
centre.
across the Tyne, look at. What name is that? Is that Darling? Darling? Oh, I can't even see that.
Yes, darling. Look at this though. I hate to see this. Just a personal pet peeve about cemeteries.
There.
These people are buried in this ground,
Yeah.
but they've dug them up, they've moved them to one side. I just feel sorry for it, because the bodies from the Anglo-Saxon cemetery were said to have nowhere to walk. So they walk the Christian cemetery, which is this thing here. And this will be wet and uncomfortable.
William Orrick.
I wish Kenny had his night vision on, but it would die, wouldn't it, in this? Obviously, with the bad weather that we've had, you see it's brought a tree down, Kenny.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. It's crazy what they put on gravestones, isn't it? When you read that there. She was a most faithful and industrious wife.
Yeah, well, you've got to remember that
Formerly the milk market.
a beautiful and industrious wife. And you see, that you've got to remember that back in the day, women were used sexually by men and married men, and wives just had to put up with it because it was a man's world. I'm not saying that to be sexist, that's just how it was. And if you had a wife who was beautiful and industrious, well, you'd won the lottery of life, hadn't you?
You have.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to necromance in here. I'm just going to let the necromancer loose so that if you're watching at home on your big screen, you might end up seeing a lot more than we do. So we're just going to be walking around. All you'll hear is the necromancer.
Big, isn't it? These are really old.
Speak to us if you're here.
Oh, look. Crypticus.
We honour you with our presence. Honour us with yours. Oh, God, that was cool. I thought that was you, Tony. Did you see something behind me there? If anybody at home was watching where I was at that point, I thought you were right behind me. You know how you can feel somebody that's like, I've just had that right here. Might be the fact that I'm getting pneumonia as well, but I could have sworn you were right behind me. Just seeing your torchlight out the way the rain's coming down, Ken.
Oh, it's really bad, isn't it?
It's whittling down.
It's big waves over this, isn't it? You don't realise.
Much bigger than you'd think.
Yeah.
And there in the background is Tyne Bridge.
Tyne Bridge.
Kenny, have a look along the bottom row of graves, because there's supposed to be one that says. There's a story here, just so that you can. I hope everybody at home can hear. There's a story based here about a family who the man was buried while he was still alive, supposedly here, and on his tomb, which has no words on it, no names on it, there's claw marks, and it was said that he came from his tomb and he clawed down the front, and regularly you see claw marks on. If you could find it, it's supposed to be on the south end here somewhere. I haven't seen it,
Well, that hasn't got nothing on it, has it?
No, but it's supposed to be at this bottom end.
Right.
So I tell you what, you go that way, Kenny.
This way.
I'll go this way. See if we can find it.
See if we can find it. Well, there's one there, look. What's that one? Look at this one. It must be this.
What?
It's got to be this one. It's got to be that.
Has it got names on it?
It's got no name on it.
Not that side, though. And there's claw marks on the other side as well.
Oh,
They're not claw marks, though, are they?
they're not, are they?
No, they're some kind of growth.
Oh. But that there's got no names on it.
No. And the whole front's missing because it should be there, shouldn't
Yeah,
it?
it should be.
Thorns, damn it.
I thought they had Saved by the Bell then, didn't they, when they rang the bell as well? Yeah, it should be.
Thorns, damn it.
I thought they had Saved by the Bell then, didn't they, when they rang the bell as well? Just shows you.
Not everyone has it. I can tell you a few of them. There's the guy who was buried. There's a guy called Douglas as well. You got to find a. It's another edge on, but it's the north edge.
Which is
So
where?
no, it should be up there then. We've just been there. We'll come back to it.
Right.
But we've got to look for a grave of a man called
Oh,
Douglas.
mind, there's a few claw marks on that one. Isn't there? But there's a name here. Percival.
Right.
Percival Wright. And family.
No, there's a guy called Douglas we've got to find. And this guy, Douglas, some people claimed that he murdered his whole family. He told all of his friends, my wife's ran off with another man, she's taken the children with her. And then they discovered a human hand sticking out of the earth because he hadn't buried his wife quite deep enough. And his name was Douglas. But it was Douglas. And if we've got anybody listening whose name is Douglas, you will spell your name D-O-U-G.
G-L-E-S, wasn't it? Yeah.
Back in the
This is
day,
strange. What's that there then?
back in the day, it was D-U-G, lass.
Why would that have that there like that? Because that's a crest, isn't it?
It's a crest, a family crest. It's amazing as well.
It is.
Tony, you want to come and see this from this side? It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Us shining
Just a
torches
big,
on it.
massive family crest. And again, it's a 3 turrets, isn't it? Like Newcastle.
Yeah.
I hope we're inside next week.
Yes, we are.
And that is the same crest, isn't it? Look.
We found John Douglas's grave and he's buried with the wife that he supposedly killed. That's just crazy. So, let's head back.
Just want to explain that if the signal's bad, they can watch it in HD on Friday, just because it did go off a few times.
Now, apparently the signal went off a couple of times. Not surprised in Storm Barra or whatever it's called. But you will be able to watch the whole thing in HD, so don't worry about it. We've got it covered. Stay with us. We'll try and stick in Signal World. Let's head down. Look at this. Now, you see, this is something that you see every day. Oh. And if you come down, Tony, I'll show you it. If you look up,
Yeah.
look at the top of this.
Is that to stop people getting in, or?
It's to stop people getting in. And there used to be railings above here, up level with the top right the way around.
Right.
It was to stop people coming in and snatching bodies. So that's what that was all about. And every cemetery around the north either had that or had men patrolling. Careful, Tony, you're going to go down the stairs there. Or they have men patrolling cemeteries to make sure that the snatcher... What the... Hang on. Getting a darkness down there.
Oh, God,
you see it at the bottom?
Yeah.
What the hell is that? Even when you get the torch on, it doesn't light up.
No.
What is that?
It's very strange again.
That's wild. And yet it's close to where people are.
It is.
Right, come on, let's head back to our next stop. Under my arms are now wet.
I was just going to say, mine just went all horrible and I didn't...
Claggy.
things that you think, should I say this or not?
Yeah, we're getting it. It's just, we're soaked through now. Come on, let's head off. I think you can get through this way.
Trying to keep your hand warm in your pocket.
Oh, the bells are ringing for us.
Yeah, you are indeed.
Bring out your dead.
Just being saved myself, saved by the bell. God.
Don't know whether anybody can realise where we are now. But that's the road heading across the Tyne Bridge just here. We're going this way. If you can remember a few ghost hunts ago, this is the railway bridge. Or is it the motorway bridge? No, I think it's the railway bridge, isn't it?
Yeah. So the trains go over, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, you know, we were talking about Pilgrim Street, how Pilgrim Street, to everybody that lives in Newcastle, is up there. Well, the first and original part of Pilgrim Street is where we've just been. This is the secondary part of Pilgrim Street. This was so pilgrims from the south could come and visit the cathedral, because we weren't pals with the north, Scotland. Pilgrim Street, where all the shops are, only became Pilgrim Street when we became friends with the Scots after James took the throne of England. So it's just hard to get your head around all this stuff, I know. But look at this. Spooky in all directions, but we got to... The quickest way, I think, is it's up and over the barrier, though. Can we climb over there? We're going to Holy Jesus Hospital.
Central stations, that, isn't it?
Really are doing the kind of avenues and alleyways here, so just bear with us. Graffiti, I hate bad graffiti. That's bad graffiti.
That's bad graffiti. Good graffiti's all right, but you know.
Good graffiti's great, but it's rare. It's nearly all crappy.
It's Cuthbert House, isn't it?
Question: Cuthbert House.
Yeah.
Who's Cuthbert House named after?
St Cuthbert.
No, I thought that.
What?
I thought Cuthbert House, and they say now, of course it was named after St Cuthbert. A guy called Cuthbert Maxwell just reminded me of one of the stories on that scrunched up bit of paper that I've got. Cuthbert Maxwell was a stonemason and he worked on All Saints Church. Now, when the Scots invaded, they were against everything to do with the Pope.
Right.
And that was a Catholic church at the time.
Strange.
And they didn't want anything to do with the Pope. So, when they came here, they tried to destroy everything that was Pope related. So they went into the old church and ruined it. But Cuthbert Maxwell got there first, and with a team of his lads, he picked up the font,
Right.
the most sacred part, and all the gold statues and stuff, and hid it from the Scots. And he did that from all three churches around here, so the Scots couldn't destroy the sacred
You would
nature.
have thought that would have been after St Cuthbert, wouldn't you?
Just
show you,
I
didn't
think
it?
it probably is now, but Cuthbert Maxwell was a
We should never assume.
was a Bobby Dazzler.
So this is Cuthbert House, though, isn't it?
It is. And it's spooky enough. I wouldn't suggest anybody came down here on the Todd, because we've had issues.
Right.
What's the matter?
Somebody just walked really fast from there down there.
Well, there's nobody there.
No, they did. They did.
Now you see, Tony's camera's been on the whole time. You might have caught that at home.
I wish I had my camera on.
Oh, yeah, that would have caught it.
Someone just walked.
I didn't hear anybody.
No, it didn't. It walked really fast, just black outline of foot. I just seen it walking dead fast down there.
Well, it would make sense from where we're going.
What the fuck?
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Tony?
Yeah, I heard something.
Something's just growled at us.
That was right next to it. There's somebody in there.
Well, let's go and see. You had to have heard that. And we apologise for Kenny swearing. He dropped the bomb again. There's nobody in there, Kenny.
Must be.
Just what was that roar? What the hell was that?
100% I saw foot, like, there was just a noise there. There was just a noise just here.
Just here, Tony.
There's something here, man. What's this up here? No.
We were both standing here and there was something happened just there.
Just here.
That was cool. What was that roared?
Right. Honestly and truly, I saw foot, like, walk dead fast down there, dead fast into there,
Right.
and
There's nothing here now.
we heard that noise, that growl, and then we just heard this, another
Like
noise.
clunk or something.
Yeah.
Is there anybody down here? Was that you we saw? Was that you we saw?
There's obviously somebody's been in here. Look, there's cans and
Yeah.
stuff. So somebody comes in here. What the hell is that?
Listen.
That'll be my head.
What are you so angry about? There's something here that's really angry,
There's something
Kenny.
here.
Listen. What are you angry about?
Oh God, I know there's somebody whispering there as well. That's really weird.
It is, absolutely.
Why would there be a noise just here?
Why would there be... But it was just there, wasn't it?
Just there. Just there. There was like a horrible noise.
And we got the growl over here. You saw the figure here. There's nothing in there.
There's definitely something.
Let me have the...
Right. There's definitely something here. What was that? What was that there?
God, yeah. I don't know whether I jumped because you jumped, or you jumped because I jumped.
There was like,
Just here.
just here, just before she come down.
What?
That was the weirdest thing.
It was just there.
Just there.
There was something here, Tony. Did you catch it?
But did, all joking aside, we jumped, she jumped as well.
I know she did.
she was walking down and she just went, was that because we jumped or?
It was a mist or your lights that I saw, but it was just so...
Something on that side. It was like somebody just dipped out of the side. Just
All three were there, just went. She's keep on looking back. Look,
it was like somebody just stuck their head around the corner.
come back. Is that her coming back?
I don't know.
Is that a different one?
Maybe I don't know. I'm starting to lose track over who's real it is.
I know, you did, don't you? You start thinking, what the hell was that?
I have no idea.
What was that?
No. The weird thing was that a young lady came walking down, and when we jumped, she jumped at the same time.
She just jumped as
so
well.
she saw something over here.
And then she's looking back all
And
the
then
time.
she walked, and she's looking back and looking back and looking back. There was something here. And you know, when she was walking, I thought it could be the reflection of her shadow on that fence at the back. But something black moved behind her.
Right.
Now, it could have been a shadow. Let me walk down there and see if it is my shadow. If I was walking down here, can you see my shadow on the fence?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Well, I saw a black thing walking behind her then.
Right. That was weird then.
This, out of all the places we've been with all the history,
I know. And then somewhere where it's just all
it's relatively new, this. But that was odd. That was
that
odd.
was very odd. And the noise
The
was
noise
odd.
came from over there, definitely, 100%.
And I'd definitely seen someone walking in there. Honestly, I did.
Good. Wait, this...
Why though?
Didn't expect we to get anything, because this is
Not
technically
here.
a grisly story kind of
Yeah, not here.
thing.
That was the strangest thing. And they were walking really fast.
I'm being drawn back to this.
I'm still convinced there's somebody in them bushes.
So you might be wondering where we're heading next. To this place here. It's Holy Jesus Hospital.
Is that what you say when you're trying to cross this road?
Holy Jesus Hospital. Okay, Tony, you're clear. Clear all the way. First of all, let's do this. Have a look down here. Cloisters. Step into the cloisters if you can, with your umbrella. You just-
Ella.
Hang on, try sideways. There you go. Look at this. Amazing. Genuine old building. It's been used as a hospital, as a soup kitchen, as a workhouse, and the freemen of Newcastle City used this building for their daughters and their widows when they died.
Right.
And the only way you could get chucked out of here is if you had a fancy man on the outside. If you were going to get married, then you could move out. Otherwise, you were kind of trapped in here, and everybody wore purple robes. And the thing that makes that weird is, you didn't know that, did you?
I didn't have a clue.
However, 3 people parking at the multi-storey car park next door about 4 years ago said that every day they would look out of when they're parking their car, they'd look over the top and they'd see women wearing purple clothes that they presumed worked here and had some kind of uniform. This place used to be the Joycey Museum as well, where some of the rooms were dressed like the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, the 18th and 19th century.
Yeah.
All the various years that this place was in operation. There's also said to be a haunting attached to a fountain that's down here.
I take that's a homeless tent, that purple thing down there, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, look down here. When you light up down here. Is that a tent at the bottom?
No.
Blue tent thing.
No, it's a glass.
Is it? No, behind the glass. Is that not a tent?
I just saw somebody.
Yeah, look, see it. Is that a tent?
I don't know. Let's see. I just saw a foot step out of.
Oh, don't, man.
No, I did, seriously. I thought that's what this door was over.
That is a tent, isn't it? Is it a tent?
Yes, it is a tent.
It is a tent. I thought so. There's a figure there. Look at the bottom of the stairs, look. You see that? Look at that.
Amazing. Well, you see, that's the house of the Freeman. So let Tony get a shot of that if he can.
I think he's stuck.
Gonna have to come down this way, Tony. You got stuck. There's a black figure on the bottom of the stairs that symbolises what it was supposed to be all about. You'll see it when you come down. Just in the glass. Do you smell pot?
I smell weed.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit of a skunky smell.
Definitely.
I don't think if you're homeless you have to smoke skunk.
No, of course not. But it might help.
I don't envy anybody being out in this kind of weather, mate.
No, not at all.
But this was designed, suppose, it depends who you talk to. One of the people that I spoke to, a historian, said that this was supposed to be designed in the shape of the Holy Grail.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, I get that. I get that.
However, other religious figures says that that's not true. It's a chalice symbolising the generosity of the people of Newcastle City.
Right.
So believe whichever one of those that you so desire.
It's like the Holy Grail, isn't it? That's the supposed shape that you associate with it.
And there's the sign of Holy Jesus Hospital.
Yeah.
I think we're just avoiding some ragtag.
Just a bit.
Because we've got to come this way now. Tony, this way, mate.
This is strange.
You see this? This was like a workhouse and also a place where widows and daughters were looked after, but they weren't allowed to leave. You know, this is, it's a prison, isn't it?
Isn't it? And everything but name.
Careful around here. Oh yeah, this is where I was looking for.
We're all right, I think.
And this is the best view. We're on Swan House roundabout, pretty much, on nearly, that's it there. So the cars, the traffic noise is horrendous, but this is the best view of Holy Jesus Hospital, and of course, 2 rooms, one room that was said, if you are wicked, and they derived wicked as meaning, have you stolen some food? Have you drank more milk than you were allowed? Because you're only allowed a little tot. You're only given porridge in the morning, porridge in the evening, and a weak soup at lunchtime. If you are wicked, they placed you in the tower, which is there. Come on, show yourself to us. Give us a real kick. Let's see a face somewhere. You could technically see a face at any window because there were people held. The reason that there's so many windows here, that's how many people, how many rooms. And sometimes it was 4 and 5 per room if they belong. You know, if if a freeman had died, he might have had a wife and 6 children. That meant that room would have a wife and 6 children in it. What's that for?
No idea. There's nothing to there, is there?
No.
Strange, isn't it?
I have no idea what this is.
There's a door there though, so why would they have that like that?
No idea.
Same there.
Look at this, Tony. Is this normal? Is there anybody in the building?
No.
There's nobody in the building. Look at the chimney.
How could that be?
How can that be?
There's definitely no one in there.
No. There's no lights on
Look.
anywhere. Look at that chimney.
How can that be?
Now on the other side of the road is the sign for the soup kitchen. That's where we're going next. But if you catch anything moving here, this place had deaths galore and they were all kept quiet.
That is strange because there's no one in there.
Let's go across to the soup kitchen symbol. Watch yourself down here. Look, the bottom of the window.
There's something there, isn't there?
Bottom of the window.
What is that?
Look,
What actually is that?
it's a face, isn't it?
There's something there.
Can you see it, Tony?
There's definitely something
Can you see
there.
it? Oh, hello. Come on.
There's definitely something there, mind.
What the hell is that?
That's snow.
And as you get closer, you can't see it.
Nah.
Because it's...
But you could see it across there.
Oh, it looks like it's moving a bit. Is it moving?
See, I'll keep my torch off it. Yours is better, you can see it better with yours.
It's gone. Is it still there?
Nah, it's gone now.
It's gone. It's gone.
That is weird. There was definitely something there at the
What
window.
the hell?
Why?
No, look.
But there's no one in the
Look,
building.
Tony, can you see them? Are you looking at it? Can you see? Take yours off, Kenny. Oh, it's gone. I had a shadow of like a...
I seen the shadow.
You saw the shadow?
I seen the face across
There was
there
like
though.
what the hell? There was a shadow there. I hope somebody saw that shadow too. There was a shadow, but it was like a black male, like, I can't see a man or woman, but it was like a head and a
shape.
shoulder. Yeah. Oh, that's wild. I didn't expect that.
I thought they would see that. You couldn't miss
They
that.
saw it. Did they see the shadow? Ah! That's the result. Shadow moving because there was a black shadow there.
I knew there was something when we were across there.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh. Sometimes when you get into this kind of stuff, you start to doubt your own eyes and you think maybe because you want to see it, yeah, your brain's clever enough to make it happen. I need you guys to see it too. How wild is that, Ken?
That is absolutely crazy.
That is amazing. Come on then. Look at this.
There's no one in there.
Do you know what this is?
No idea. That's
You
gotta be
call
an
yourself
old-
a Geordie?
That's got to be an old
What is
part
that?
of the castle, surely.
No.
It's not.
More important.
More important.
More important. I'm
Um,
asking you guys at home, do you know what that is?
is it part of
It's the original end of Hadrian's Wall.
Hadrian's Wall? I was going to say that.
Before they moved, because they ended here at first, and then they took it on to Wall's End eventually. But
Right.
it stopped here first.
So that's what that is. Oh my God.
There you go. Bit of history for you.
Just right there in front of you. Adrian's wall. So thinking about that a bit. I'm there. Woo.
Right, we're heading on to the last stop. Come with us. I wasn't sure whether it would be worthwhile going around the back, but it was, wasn't it? Feel the back of my hair.
You see.
So good.
How can you get smell of weed here? Really strong.
Ah,
It must be.
God, my hat's heavy.
It must be the homeless people.
You see how soaking it is?
Do you think?
Ah, not
Do you think
funny.
it's the homeless people smoking it?
See again?
Do you think it's the homeless people
Maybe, I don't know.
smoking weed?
Let's just respect him and let him rest. He's in his tent. If I was like that and I had a joint, I'd probably smoke it as well.
Of course you would. You'd just want to forget, wouldn't you?
For sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What a place.
Crazy, isn't it?
What a place.
Meds.
This is the underpass again. I would suggest nobody walking down here on their own.
No.
And out here, the stairs that lead up to our old building.
Yeah.
And the only reason we're bringing you here to end the whole shebang is because it's the best view of part of the soup kitchen, really. It's where the big sign is that shows it up beautifully.
You manage.
So there you go. Don't know how clearly you can see that, Tony. Can you see it through the trees?
Just get it along.
There's the chimney that that is it still smoking? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then below it, can you light up that sign,
That
Kenny?
sign, isn't it?
That's the soup kitchen sign.
Yeah. Is it 1880?
If you guys at home aren't seeing it, just remember next time you're driving around Swan House roundabout, heading across maybe to the bridges or whatever, you'll see that. So come on back round, get back to civilization. Oh, freezing.
Maybe it's all them years ago when William Wallace was there. Maybe that's where he was shouting. It wasn't freedom. It was
freezing. It may well be true. But here we are. We're back again to the bottom of Pilgrim Street.
Yeah.
The wibbly wobbly road brings you through to there.
Big Cuthbert House there, look.
And then, but you see, that's where we were on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
Pilgrim Street continues right the way up there.
Does indeed.
So, in a couple of grisly trails, we've brought you all kinds of places. We brought you to Lower Newcastle, and we also brought you to the stranger end, the hidden end that nobody ever goes to. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've got somewhere inside coming up.
Yeah.
This week. It's going to take me a week just to dry my hair. Oh dear. So we're looking forward to that. Keep spreading the word. Keep getting the news out to as many as you can. We're coming up to the season to be jolly. We would love to have you with us. And we'll come up with a few very different things. It's difficult this time of year to get into places. but we've got one coming up this week. We've got a few drivey out and abouts to places where you guys live, and certainly where you'll have been before, with some more amazing stories. I was glad we were able to do like cemeteries and places where we've saw stuff. That's absolute cherry on the tree. It's a total bonus. But that's it for us tonight. From Tony, good night. From Kenny,
good night.
And from me, Alan Robson, good night, God bless you, and I wish you well. Thanks for being with us.
Good one. Good one.